Showroom Stock B charged towards turn 1 in 2007 with Ken Flory pushing to the lead in his red Pontiac Solstice. Then Lee Neffenegger found a way down the inside of Toby Grohovic for the 4th position, but a full course caution gathered the field, and on the restart, Neffenegger charged from 4th and took over the point, and there was plenty of bumping for the 3rd position. Into turn 4, and Flory took the lead back from the Honda under braking. Pole sitter Mike Skornavaki tried to muscle his way back to a top spot, wrestling with Bob Shader, but from the flag stand, the Flying Flory captured his first national title. Showroom Stock B has always been one of the more hard-fought classes at the SCCA Runoffs, and this year will be no different. Defending champion Ken Flory certainly knows how to make a race car go fast. He's a chassis engineer on the number 3 Corvette in the American Le Mans Series. But because of that, he hasn't raced as much as he's wanted to in 2008. We'll see if past experience will take him to the checkered flag. Mike Skornavaki qualified on the pole last year in his first attempt at the Runoffs. He didn't get the finish that he wanted. We'll see if he can improve in 2008. And Lee Neffenegger, he too knows how to make a car go fast. He's an engineer, but with American Honda. He's improved his Honda Civic from last year, and he wants to improve on his 2nd place finish. That's just a look at 3 of the competitors in SSB. For more, let's check in with Dorsey Schrader.
Well, Brian, Bob Shader's no stranger to the runoffs, that's for sure, and he's not a stranger to winning either. In fact, he's won 6 times so far this year in his Mazda. A man definitely to be watched. He's won at Heartland Park before. Jeff Jensen comes in with an Acura RSX, a very potent car, no doubt about that, and a 2nd place finish at June Sprints makes him a contender. Chad Gelsinger, on the other hand, runs multiple classes. He's got 7 different wins, but 3 of them came in this car. These drivers are definitely to be watched in today's race.
Since 1964, SCCA drivers have competed throughout the season for a coveted invitation to the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Now, in their 45th running, the Runoffs is the destination for drivers looking to prove that they are the best in the class and worthy of the title, National Champion. And for the 3rd year in a row, the fight for the National Championship in all 25 classes of the SCCA will take place at the beautiful Heartland Park Topeka Circuit. Showroom Stock B Gold is on the line next, and it should provide plenty of door-banging, fender-rubbing action. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Till, along with Dorsey Schrader, Chris Neville, and Mike Johnson. Dorsey, Showroom Stock around Heartland Park. It should be a good one. Take us around.
Don't know if there's enough room for these guys. They really bang it up. There's 14 corners to get it done with. 2.5-mile circuit. Very, very tight corners at the back part of the circuit where braking is an option. I said it again. Anyway, the fast part on the other end. It should be interesting.
And when we talk about showroom stock, I'm talking showroom stock. Basically, you could just drive these cars right out of the dealership and go racing pretty much.
Well, the modifications of these cars have to do with safety, really. You know, the roll cage in there, belts and so forth for safety. These are all late model production cars, and they are showroom stock.
And a big tire battle looming as well. Let's head straight down to pit road and Chris Neville.
Brian, Ralph Porter and his Mini Cooper used to be the dominant car in SSC, but last year this little Mini Cooper was moved up to SSB. Now he's a little bit disappointed because the Honda Civic is the dominant package over here, and his little Mini, a little bit low on horsepower, doesn't handle as well and doesn't have enough tires. So a car that used to be dominant is now a mid-packer.
Well, thanks, Chris. You know, right now, I want you guys to keep an eye on this number 99 big Camaro V6. Now, he's going to take off like a rocket at the start of this race. These guys are rolling off, but it's 600 pounds heavier than his lightest field. Braking will definitely not be an option for him going into turn 1 because he's going to have to get on the binders pretty hard if he wants to slow that thing down before they get through turn 1 and 2. Guys?
Cars rolling out onto the track to take their pace laps, and we'll be back for Showroom Stock B action from the National Championship Runoffs. The 45th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs for the 3rd year in a row from Heartland Park to Topeka. And up next, Showroom Stock B. I talk about door-banging, fender-rubbing action. This is going to be a good one, Dorsey, and a tire battle here. A lot of Hoosier and BF Goodrich. I don't see much Goodyear in this one.
No, there's Kumho tires as well in here, and it's a choice that you can make for your car, whichever one you want to do. But you're right, most of these guys on Hoosiers.
It's really one of the few changes that you can really make to the car that you choose is what rubber am I going to put on, and a lot of these guys look for that performance advantage. But when we talk about tire manufacturers, you got to also have to talk about chassis manufacturers or the car manufacturers. Two Honda Civics on the front row, both Lee Neffenegger and Chad Gilsinger driving the Honda Civic, and then two Pontiac Solstices right in order, Ken Flory, last year's champion, and Michael Skornovaki.
And the first car that's not one of those cars, a Honda or a Solstice, is a Mazda, and it's all the way down in 7th place. So obviously the cards are stacked in favor of either that Civic or the Solstice.
6 divisional champions in the field today, 3 former national champions, so a lot of talent out there. A couple of last-minute stories from down on pit road. We'll head first to Mike.
Well, we talk a lot about this being amateur racing, and what does that exactly mean? It means anybody can do this. Eddie Nakano, starting in the number 28 car, is just one of those guys. Was sitting around watching this racing saying, hey, I can do that. He spent $15,000 this year, and that included buying a car and using up all the tires that came with the car, and now he's here at his first runoffs. Had a great year with a bunch of wins, and now he's having a great time. He says first set of tires I ever bought was for this weekend to put the car in qualifying. Guys?
Well, you look at that front row, those guys are on BFGs, and BFGs haven't been to the runoffs since 1999. So the guys from Team Honda Research, these are all engineers from the Honda R&D plant in Ohio. They think they've got the right tire combination to beat the Kumhos, the Hancooks, and the Hoosiers.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see, and as we talked about in the Open, and as Chris just mentioned, this is a class that seems like the engineers love to come and run in. Ken Flory, a chassis engineer for the American Le Mans Series Corvette team, so very talented guys. And then that group of engineers from Honda of America there in Marysville, and they definitely want to put that Honda banner out in front at the end of this Showroom Stock B run.
Well, they're regulated to the tire size that they can run, but they are not regulated to the brand tire or that's why you see a tire war going on, different compounds available.
And these tire manufacturers take this just as seriously as the car manufacturers do. Big bragging rights at stake here, not only for the car manufacturers, but the tire manufacturers as well. And they're looking at that aftermarket saying, look, with our tires, we've won national championships. You should put them on your sports car as well. Honda Civics on the front row. Lee Neffenegger in the 42 on the pole. 07 of Chad Gilsinger. Neffenegger going for that coveted SCCA Triple Crown, and a nice slow start here, Dorsey. And green flag wave, Showroom Stock B underway.
Oh, they're 3 wide already.
It looks like the 405 out in lane.
Trouble.
Cars turned already on the front straight.
And that's not going to stop there. It's going to collect. There's the Camaro that we saw at the beginning of the show. It's out of the race. 3 cars at least.
Problems for the Mini as well. 2 of the MX-5s a little further back involved.
Oh, car off the track here on turn 2. Gets it back on okay, lucky there.
That was one of our front row sitters.
Full course
and
yellow.
Full course caution comes out.
And no surprise about that as we got 3 cars wadded up in the front straightaway here.
That may have been Chad Gilsinger that we saw off there. There is the 16, one of the cars involved.
Well, so far it's a local yellow. They have not gone full course. That car's not going anywhere. Major damage to the 12. Robert Shader, Bob Shader, one of the guys I talked to at the beginning of the show.
Shader, a past national champion. Full course caution.
Watching the back of this pack, you see that red car is moving around a lot. It's going to get clipped here. Right there, it gets clipped.
We saw the Acura, the number 40, get door-to-door. Jeff Jensen got door-to-door, and they kind of bumped a little bit, and then they moved back over, and I think they got into the number 12.
Here's a better look at it. 3 cars get together. Bob Shader gets turned, but watch what happens with this Camaro. Bam! Big hit. Camaro had nowhere to go. Shader's car spinning across.
The Camaro with Stan Zaki, we talked about him earlier, so his day is done. And, when you come to the runoffs, you want to see the checkered flag, but you really want to see the green flag first. These guys didn't even get a lap in.
No, the 40 car got pinched between 2 cars. It was the only car that kept going, by the way, but it does have damage to both fronts.
See Bob Shader there on the side, and really it looked like he might have been okay up to a point, and then as he goes across the racetrack, Zachy in the Camaro.
Nowhere to go.
Big contact. Driver's discussing it right now, going, hey, you know, it was a little of this, a little of that, and surveying the damage there on the front straightaway. And all that work, all that competition all season long to earn a spot to be here, and it ends like this. Standing watching the field go by. We talked about door rubbing or door banging and fender rubbing action here for showroom stock B. Well, it started from the very beginning at the drop of the green. Take a look at this. The 42, Neffenegger on the pole, Chad Gilsinger in his gray Honda Civic, but behind him, it all goes bad.
Yeah, you can't put 3 cars in a spot of 1, and that's what they tried to do right here.
Shader got into the number 40.
40 went on. He was the only car of those bunch that were in the 3 pinch down there that kept going. See it right there? It's that Acura in the center.
Yeah, Shader up there. The Acura slips through, and then the Pontiac Solstice for Alan Yankelin. So problems in showroom stock B before we ever get going. We told you it would be exciting. It already has been. We'll have more when we come back.
Canadian John Shirk has competed professionally in the Coney Challenge and the World Challenge Series, and now looking for a national championship in his runoffs debut. John, with your professional experience, what type of advantage does that bring to the track?
Well, I've spent a lot of time learning new tracks in the Pro Series, and I think that's helping me here. It's not a piece of cake, though. There's a lot of heavy competition out there, and a lot of the same fellows I've raced against in the Pro Series are here doing this. It's a lot more sort of concentrated effort in a short period of time. You got to lay it on the table and get it done really fast, whereas the endurance racing, you can be out there for hours on end and figure it out that way.
And there's John Shirk right there in his beautiful little Honda, the number 88, running 8th right now. And you heard him say, just because I've run pro races doesn't mean that the competition here is not incredibly deep. The talent pool here, we talked about it already, 3 former national champions, 6 divisional champions in this field of 19. Unfortunately, one of those past national champions taken out right at the start, and that would be Bob Shader. You take a look again at what happened at the drop of the green.
And this was a big shuffle. Everybody trying to get position, headed down to turn 1. And unfortunately, 3 cars get together here, turns them into the wall. Bob Shader's car ricochets off, comes across, gets collected by the Camaro. Nothing either driver could have done about that. And Jeff Jensen in the Acura in the center there with the blue back end is the only one that gets through this unscathed.
Tries to slide through there and takes the other ones with him. Chris.
No.
Well, Ralph Porter, who started 14th, taking a look at the front end of his Mini Cooper here, talking to the tow crews. They're getting ready to pull it off. Ralph, what happened at the drop of the green there?
A couple of the Pontiac Solstice got side by side against the wall, and they stopped, and there was no way I could get stopped. I just plowed into the back end of one of the guys.
You've been racing for 35 years. This is your 14th runoffs. These guys being a little bit impatient at the start?
Yeah, in this class, it's not unusual to be very impatient, and they beat on each other regularly in the starts, so I should have been a little more cautious. But still, I had plenty of room. We just couldn't get it stopped. Yeah.
Well, his best finish is 3rd at the runoffs 2 years ago. Mike?
Well, I'm standing with one of those national champions, Bob Shader. He was driving that red Miata in the wreck. Bob, how did you see this accident?
Well, actually, I didn't see it. I was a passenger in it. I got hit really hard from behind and turned sideways, and after that, I was kind of like a ping pong ball bouncing off everybody else.
And you've been doing this for a long time as well. I mean, what's it like? You're here for an entire week. You take a week off work and away from family, and you get, what, 100 yards into the race, and your race is over?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's not what we came for.
All right, well, hopefully we'll see you guys again next year. Chris?
Well, Alan Yankelin putting his car up on the back of this flatbed here, the car 16. Alan, what happened there on the start?
As far as I know, I just got pinched to the wall. I got hit from the right side and sent me into the inside wall here on the left side.
We can see the side of that car pancaked pretty well. They're going to get it up on this flatbed, clear all these cars off the front straightaway, and then hopefully we can get back to racing.
Well, disappointing for these guys. These are not fiberglass or carbon fiber bodies that can be easily put back together. A lot of damage to be repaired and a lot of racing yet to go. At the drop of the green, the excitement started. We'll have plenty of good, clean racing action, we hope, when we come back to Heartland Park and Showroom Stock B. The pinnacle of SCCA National Club Racing competition is the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Over 500 drivers, along with friends, family, and crew, have arrived in Topeka, Kansas to wage war in 25 different classes and to see who can walk away at the end of the weekend with the gold medals. Today, under cloudy skies, the competition is heating up, and the battle for the Showroom Stock B title is about to get back underway. And Dorsey, I say back underway because you can see the field behind the pace car right now. And the reason why is at the drop of the green, it all went wrong.
It did indeed. As the cars were shuffling around trying to get position, Jeff Jensen in the Acura, the 40 car, gets in the middle of Bob Shader and starts a big chain reaction wreck. Not much any of the drivers could do about that.
Involved Shader, Alan Yankelin. And now we're going to try it again. The green flag waves. Lee Neffenegger brings the field down. He was your pole sitter in his Honda Civic. Chad Gilsinger right behind him in another Honda. And look at this, another Honda blasting to the front. Chase Lynn, 3 Hondas up front right now. Can the boys in the Solstice make up? Can they move back to the front? Skornavaki tries to do so in his black 25. But I believe he loses a position as well, the 07. Chad Gilsinger holding on to second. Skornavaki shuffled back, as is Ken Flory. Flory, your defending national champion, 6th in the running order right there in the red Pontiac Solstice. It's a Honda train up front.
Looks like the Honda boys are going to draft together, work together, try to push each other forward and get away from those Pontiac Solstices. But they've got the same idea. The 87 off the track now, comes back, 3 Solstices.
Oh, it's Richard Cullen, and Cullen on a charge. You saw him on the restart move to the front. He started in the 9th position, and he is a man possessed right now trying to go to the front.
He was out there in the grass all by himself a minute ago.
I'm telling you, gutsy move and hard driving through turns 5 and 6 here at Heartland Park, Topeka. And the Pontiac Solstice of Ken Flory heading in the wrong direction. Look at,
a lot of off-the-road racing going on here.
Well, I guess the good thing about showroom stock, you're not really worried about the ride height. These cars, several inches of ride height. It's not like you're in a true sports car or race car, but these guys using every inch of the racetrack and then some. Here's the battle for 8th. John Shirk in the 88. We talked about him earlier.
In the 41 right there.
That's Michael
Pettiford. He's running several classes this weekend.
Pettiford started 6th, though he has moved the wrong direction. Remember, several cars out right now, and Pettiford has slid back in the order. You talked about it, Dorsey. Pettiford running 3 different classes at the SCCA National Championships this year and has a silver medal in the T2 class, so one of his races has turned out the way you wanted to. You look at the battle for 3rd, Skornavaki in the black 25, and then right behind him, Ken Flory. So Flory and Skornavaki.
Oh, one of the Hondas off.
Man, the 53 again.
Chase Lynn, he drove it off the outside of turn 2. That's the 2nd time we've seen one of those Hondas fly off the road there.
He's using every bit of the 2.5 miles of pavement and then some of the grass as well. So Chase Lynn letting it all hang out, and that has allowed Skornavaki to close up.
That's a lot of speed down here into turn 2. Way too much speed. Off the road he goes. Good save.
I don't think he slows him down much.
Well, it didn't last time either, believe it or not.
He just keeps his foot in it, but Michael Skornavaki now beginning to close back up. So perhaps just taking a while for those Hoosier tires on the Pontiac Solstices of Skornavaki in the black 25 and Ken Flory in the red number 8 right behind him to come up to temperature and begin to get quick. But
of course, Ken Flory is the reigning champion. He won this race here last year in the red Solstice. So
look at these guys, both Neffenegger and Gilsinger, the first 2 cars in the picture there, came through turn 9 and said, yeah, there's apex curving there, but I think I want to use another 3 or 4 feet to the inside of it.
They just don't care where they go with these cars, I think.
Well, they're going in the general direction that the racetrack is going.
It does. Well, you're right about one thing. It doesn't appear to hurt them when they get off the road. Now, the Solstice working to the outside of Chase Lynn.
Skornavaki really trying to move his way forward, and a problem for the number 5 of Bob Dimmers. in another one of the Pontiac Solstices, perhaps a little bit of damage up front. So having problems right there, not the way you want to start your runoffs, but back up front. Lee Neffenegger continues to lead over Chad Gilsinger, but the battle really heating up 3rd through 5th. We'll be back to more Showroom Stock B action from Harlan Park, Topeka. The SCCA National Championship Runoffs, the 45th running of the runoffs, and up on tap right now, Showroom Stock B. Michael Skornavaki in his black number 25 Pontiac Solstice, really trying to take the battle to the front, and he has taken it right up to the bumper of the gray Honda Civic of Chad Gilsinger. This is the battle for second. Lee Neffenegger continues to lead. He flashes by in his blue Honda Civic, but it seems like the Hoosier tires really beginning to come good for Skornavaki.
Well, he's trying outside, inside, anything he can to get by Chad Gilsinger, but not to be done yet.
I say things have settled down a bit, but maybe that's an overstatement here in Showroom Stock B. Always exciting. We were just talking about tire wars. Chris, tell us more.
Well, Brian, over the course of competition this weekend, I think one thing that we've seen is a bit more tire wear this weekend, and that's what a lot of the competitors are saying. And at the end of the day, lots of marbles on the racetrack. Now, talking to those engineers from Honda R&D, Chad Gilsinger, Chase Lynn, and Lee Neffenegger, they were saying going with the BFG, they felt it was a little bit harder tire. We've seen the Hoosier come up to temperature and be strong in the early part of these races, but these guys saying they went with BFG, they think it's more consistent over the long run, a little bit tougher tires. So as those Hoosiers might be reeling them in right now, those guys are thinking in the late stages of this race, they'll be very strong.
Well, it is the Honda Civics of Lee Neffenegger, Chad Gilsinger up front right now with the BF Goodrich, and then Michael Skornavaki trying to do battle and take over that second position in his Pontiac Solstice.
We go again.
There he goes.
That time he got the signboard.
But
third time in a row, Chase Lynn has got that huge slide off the outside of turn 2.
Michael Skornavaki in his Pontiac Solstice there, trying to come back and take over that second position from Gilsinger. But Skornavaki on the Hoosier tires, as is Ken Flory. And now Skornavaki says, I'm going to work my way through, and takes the position in 5. Ken Flory beginning to really put the pressure on Chase Lynn.
I thought he was going to make contact and get underneath him, and
Flory gets it
didn't
done.
happen. That was a good outbraking maneuver for Flory.
Now Lynn trying to come back on Ken Flory, the defending national champion, and that little Honda Civic has some grunt off of the corners right there, and now side by side into this very fast section of corners, turn 8 and 9, and he clears him. Chase Lynn gets the position back, but the question is, will he stay on the racetrack at the exit of the corner?
I think he...
No,
neither
does Flory.
Incoming, look out. Flory back on the road.
And it doesn't slow these guys up at all, Dorsey. It doesn't seem like. Back behind him, the 87 of Richard Cullen has to be thinking, come on, guys, this is crazy. Now, take a look. Chase Lynn just moments ago, he's been in the green as much as he's been on the gray. No more braking marker for turn 3.
Nope, he's taking care of that one. Of course, the most recent one of those off-the-road situations was last year's champion, Ken Flory. Watch the red Solstice.
Well, and Chase Lynn goes off again, but Ken Flory goes off big time. Well, it's like I said, every inch of the 2.5 miles worth of asphalt, and then a lot of the green as well. Flory trying to work his way back up, and this is just incredible stuff. Once again, Richard Cullen, the third car in the shot there in the white 87.
Will he stay on the road? Yeah, he makes it that time.
I think it's the first time through. And these guys having a good go of it, and I know they got to be having fun. Now, this is a little disconcerting to me because Chase Lynn in the 53 lives very close to me. I'm not exactly sure where, but he is a neighbor of mine because he lives in Lewis Center, Ohio. I'm going to look for him driving around in the neighborhood. Look at this. Ken Flory now takes the position back. It seems like, and there he goes again. Chase Lynn off the racetrack.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is letting Lee Neffenegger, our leader, get away. All of this sliding around and running through the grass and so forth. They're having fun out here.
Now, you'll notice there is a clock counting down at the top of the screen. This was scheduled to be an 18-lap contest for the gold in Showroom Stock B, but the problems that we had at the start, the extended time under full course caution, has moved it to a timed event. Lee Neffenegger continues to lead Showroom Stock B, but we have had plenty of excitement behind him. Stick around.
This summer, I had the pleasure of visiting the Boggy Creek Camp near Daytona Beach, and now I have an even bigger pleasure of meeting one of the counselors from the Hole in the Wall Gang camp up in Connecticut. Richard Cullen is one of those counselors, and tell us why you do this and what the camp is all about.
Well, Mike, it's just totally my pleasure. I am a very lucky guy, and I'd like to give a little back. It's a place for kids that are sick in some way, and some aren't, and some are in remission. It's a spectacular place. It has everything a kid would ever want. I go as a counselor, and I got to tell you, I feel really good when I leave there. And if I can help, and if every kid can find a little something in there, and a reason to move on, and a place to want to come back to, then it's certainly worth it to me.
Well, that camp was started by Paul Newman, and he's no longer with us, but his legacy lives on to thousands of children.
See the 87 right there in 6th, and he's backed away from some of this craziness that was going on in front of him. Nope, there he is, Chase Lynn.
He was really exciting. And early in the race, this car was everywhere.
Probably wanted to back away a little bit to keep the mud off his windshield, as these guys have been off the road as much as they've been on. We'll move a little bit further back. The battle for 11.
That was almost going to be a contact if he turned in. Now another off-road racer, the 5 car now bounding through the field, Bob Demers.
And you also see the 28, Eddie Nakato, in there. And look at this, side by side. Demers already has some damage. Now the 95 works his way in as well. Ken Payson.
This won't work.
That won't fit. Well, Payson, a former national champion as well, so he certainly knows how to make a car go fast. Right now, a little further back in the field than he would want. He won Showroom Stock C National Championship back in 1982.
Kenny goes
25
way back.
Runoffs. He knows how to get it done. But let's go up front now. We talked about the march to the front. Lee Neffenegger had led from the pole after the restart and really had never been pressured, but Skornavaki really closing down the last lap, 0.4 of a second faster than Neffenegger, and that Pontiac Solstice on those Hoosiers has really come alive. Perhaps, Dorsey, that lengthy full course caution in the beginning, we heard Chris Neville talking about the durability of the BF Goodrich tires for Lee Neffenegger. Well, durability isn't going to be an issue because the race isn't going to run for that long.
Not now, it's not, because they sat so far, cleaning up that wreck. These guys have been trying to wreck. You can see they've been leaning on each other. Body damage up on the front Solstice. The 5 car there, that's Bob Demers, and this is our lead battle now. The leader under heavy attack from Michael, trying to get inside him here.
Skornavaki looking inside and out, and once again, with the amount of time we've had under green, perhaps that is a big benefit for the Hoosier tires on that black Pontiac Solstice of Mike Skornavaki. Neffenegger with his mirrors full of the Pontiac emblem, and Skornavaki trying to take over the point.
Honda's got top end on it. It really looks like it just has more legs at the far end of these straightaways.
Skornavaki had the pole in 2007. He wants the win this year, Mike.
Yeah, and with his crew chief, Butch Cummer. Butch, he's obviously caught up to Neffenegger pretty quickly, but where is he going to be able to get past with that Acura having so much power?
Best shot we're going to have is probably turn 3 or maybe going into 8. We're going to have to get him under, early enough that where the Honda can't get back by him on the straightaway, because the Honda's got the horsepower, we got to handle it.
All right, well, they're not giving up yet. Still plenty of time to go.
Well, yeah, and he left out turn 14, which is exactly where the pass happened. Let's see.
But this is what he was talking about. Now the Honda's going to just draft on by. I think it's going to have this, like I said, I've been noticing it's got a lot more top-end speed at the far end of the straightaway.
Not the only Honda under attack. You saw back in the background, Chad Gilsinger under attack from Ken Flory. And look at the Honda with the top end, Dorsey. You were right. Motors on by.
What has to happen is he's going to have to pass him right up here in turn 3, like his crewman just said. And what will happen then is with the handling on the Solstice, he'll be able to open up a gap before he gets to that back straightaway.
But what is important is where the finish line is. Look at the Solstice, and Neffenegger really holding on to that Honda. It was trying to get away from him there into turn 3.
Did a good save there. It was in trouble for just a minute.
What I was saying about the finish line is when we watched that pass get made by Skornavaki through 14, I believe he won the drag race to the line. Neffenegger won at the end of the straightaway, but that's not what's important. Here's where we were through 13 and then 14. Gets it done in the low-speed stuff. The Honda, we know, has the legs down the straightaway, but what's important is where the line is. There's the line. Who gets to it first?
Pontiac would have won.
Pontiac would have won. Would have. But would have doesn't count. Back up front, Neffenegger has taken it back over from Skornovaki. Great action for the lead and for third as well. So battles all around Heartland Park in Showroom Stock B. Showroom Stock B, from the drop of the green, it got ugly in a hurry. At least 3 cars done right at the beginning, including former national champion Bob Shader. Jeff Jensen in his Honda, or in his Acura, I should say.
Jeff Jensen started that wreck, and he's the only one that escaped it, too.
And then on the restart, it was Hondas up front. Lee Neffenegger, Chad Gilsinger, and Chase Lynn running 1, 2, 3. Skornovaki wanted to get in the battle as well, but Richard Cullen in his white 87 holding station. Has it been an exciting day for Chase Lynn?
He likes that corner a lot. That was just his first little bit of off, but he did it a little bit better this time.
Well, if you're going to make the radius big, make it even bigger.
Now the brake marker's gone. Don't have that problem anymore.
And then the battle up front, it was Michael Skornovaki on those Hoosiers on the Pontiac Solstice doing battle, clawing his way back to the front.
Yep, he got second place back there. Now this is Ken Flory, last year's champion, taking a wild ride.
And the battle for the lead, Skornovaki took it in turn 14, and then the drag race ensued down the front straightaway, which is fitting because it's a drag strip.
Honda's got better top end, and it will pass, but not before start finish. And that's still going on.
And that's going to be the telling mark, I think, Dorsey, is the drag race. It's not going to be the top end. It's going to be who can get to that line. If they drag race off of turn 14, it could be to Pontiac Solstice. We'll have to see. But right now, Lee Neffenegger up front has been able to pull out several car lengths over Skornovaki, not able to put the speed in where we had seen it earlier, and that was the strength of Skornovaki, was in the tighter sections of the racetrack. But here we come up to the area they call the autocross sections, turns 10 through 14. This is where the pass happened several laps ago.
Roughly 3 laps remaining in this race, if I got it figured right. This is where the Pontiac is good. Better handling car than the Honda.
But the Honda will just walk away down the straightaway. Here's the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Ken Flory in the red Pontiac Solstice trying to get back up front, but the Honda's just so strong. That's Chase Lynn in the black 53 in front, and then the gray 07 to Chad Gilsinger flashes by.
Now watch up here in turn 2, see if Chase can stay on the racetrack this time. He gets through 1 really good, but he carries so much speed in 2 that's where we see him go flying.
Well, he gets through 1 so fast. He's got so much speed for turn 2. It's like he almost forgets about it. He's decided to use the gray stuff this time.
Learned that lesson.
Yeah, he learned that lesson. But I tell you, Dorsey, the Pontiac Solstice really seems to have the handling. You watch Ken Flory really come up on the back of Chase Lynn when they get into the corners. And look at this. Talk about get into the corners. Flory takes the position, but as they come out of this next corner, the left-hander, turn 6, it'll be another straight line run up to the very fast turn 8, and we'll see if the Honda has the legs once again. Skornovaki beginning to drop back to this battle.
That's something he didn't want to have happen. Oh, I think
he may have a problem, Dorsey.
He's in trouble. He's off song for sure. They're all going to go right by him. So our second place car is limping. I think he's got a flat left side tire.
Mike Skornovaki with a problem with just about 2 laps to go.
Yep. He's got a cut down front tire. I think left front is down.
So Skornovaki's day is done. Wisely pulls out of the way. You look at the 07 of Chad Gilsinger. He'll take over second place, but Ken Flory, defending national champion in the class, would like to pick up another position. This is where the Solstice is so strong. The Honda has the legs down the straightaway. The Solstice with the handling. Flory to the inside. Gilsinger says not here.
Oh, man.
And up front, Lee Neffenegger continues to lead onto the front straightaway. You see the battle being waged behind. Here's what happens to Michael Skornovaki.
Oh, flattened his left front right there. You saw him go off the road and has a left front cut down. I can see it.
just immediately collapsed there, Dorsey. I don't know if the wheel might have just broken there on the bead a little bit or the tire got cut down, but it doesn't really matter. Pretty quick deflation, and the day is over with for Michael Skornavaki. But for Lee Neffenegger, he continues to lead. The battle for second in Showroom Stock B. The national championship on the line at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Ken Flory in the red number 8, the defending national champion in class, really putting the pressure on now on Chad Gilsinger.
And it's a complex problem he has. He's got a better handling car, and he's got to make that pass happen early around turn 2 or 3 so he can stretch the legs, because this Honda's going to out-top end him every single time.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Ken Flory can do what we saw Michael Skornavaki do earlier to Lee Neffenegger. If he can make the pass down in the autocross section, that turn 11, 12, 13, maybe even turn 14, he can drag race him to the line and beat him. So it's just a matter of where are you in position through this area of the racetrack right now. 3 minutes, just a little over 3 minutes to go. And there should be one more lap, Dorsey.
These cars run the same lap time, but they get their speed in different areas. The Honda makes its speed down the straightaway. The Solstice makes its cornering, it's where it makes its speed is in the corner.
It's so frustrating for Flory to be right on the back bumper, but have the Honda pull away. Going further back, the battle for 11th. Ken Payson in the 95, his little Mazda.
Kenny goes way back to the old Firestone Firehawk days. He won a championship back there too when I was running it, so he's been in these showroom stock cars for many years.
Eddie Nakato in the 28, right behind him in his Acura, and then Bob Dimmers in the number 5 Pontiac Solstice. These three have been running in lockstep since
rubbing
the
on
restart.
each other too as they still continue.
Yeah, the front end on Dimmers Pontiac Solstice not quite as square as it was at the beginning of the race, but they've been having a good run. And once again, kudos to the SCCA. 3 different manufacturers right there, and they're running that close together. They're doing a good job in this showroom stock B class of making sure that these cars are equal. Payson down the front straightaway, beginning to pull out a little bit from the 28 of Nakato.
That's because those two guys are beating each other up every corner.
And there was a slow car down the front straightaway. It was a Solstice. At first, I thought it might have been Ken Flory, but I don't believe it was.
It's a red one for sure, but I don't think it was either.
So Payson continues to run 10th. Understand it was Michael Pettiford in the 41 in his Pontiac Solstice to slow down the front straightaway. Good job by Pettiford. Very experienced driver to let that battle go. He knows he's having a rough day, so he's going to let him go by. Here's the battle for second once again. Lee Neffenegger, 7.5 seconds in hand over this battle. The 07, Chad Gilsinger. The 8, Ken Flory.
Flory trying everything he can to get the nose of that Solstice in, but Gilsinger doing a really good job of not leaving a hole open.
And here's the frustrating part. Flory right there down onto the front straightaway, and then the Honda pulls away. Back to the battle for 11th. Once again, well, now Pettiford back up to speed, Dorsey. There's the red Solstice has come up back up to speed, so he might have had some type of a problem.
And we're just about out of time in this race, Brian, so these guys are going at it for the last time round.
Well, and they want bragging rights. They want to be able to say they finished in the top 10 at least, so trying to work their way back up to the front. Pettiford actually being shown a lap down, so he's not a part of this battle in timing and scoring. It's just a part of the battle on the racetrack. And hey, if he's out there, why not have some fun? 25 seconds left. This is definitely the last lap. Lee Neffenegger, just about a third of the racetrack left to negotiate.
Nobody to play with.
And that's exactly what you want. You don't want to play with anybody once you take over the lead. Through turn 7 for the final time, Neffenegger in through the very fast chicane. The bus stop turns 8 and 9. A quick left, a very fast right, and then another quick left onto the back straightaway.
That's
See the battle for
right
second
there.
right
That's
there.
second place you got coming at you.
And this is it. This is where Ken Flory has to get the job done. Can he stay close enough to Gilsinger down this back straightaway? He's closer than he's been over the last several laps, Dorsey. He needs to make the move and make it work. He's got 4 corners to do it. Through turn 10, up to 11. Flory closes. 2 more corners. Now, Lee Neffenegger onto the front straightaway for the final time. Looks like he'll take the national championship and the Triple Crown. Ken Flory, can he get the job done? Can he drag race the Honda of Gilsinger to the line? The checkered flag waves for Neffenegger, and here comes the drag race. I don't believe Ken Flory was close enough. He needed to be in front when they came to the straightaway. He's not, and it will end that way. Chad Gilsinger, second. Flory, defending national champion, rolls through in third, and a good run for him, and a good run for Richard Cullen as well, as he came across the line in fourth. Back, the battle for 11th. Ken Payson holds down 10th, and look at this.
Not going to happen. 28, Eddie Nakato holds him off, but here comes Payson around the outside, gives him position for this corner.
That's actually Pettiford there in the 41, and that is not for position. Pettiford a lap down once again. He's just got thrown into the mix. He had to come to pit lane for something. So got our blood pumping there a little bit, Dorsey, but Ken Payson in the 95 will finish 10th. As he rolls across the line, I'm sure his crew saying, hey, the Solstice behind you, not for position, and then Nakato will bring home 11th. Checkered flag wave, showroom stock B. It is done and in the books. And Lee Neffenegger takes a very hard-earned national championship as well as the coveted SCCA Triple Crown. We'll be back for the gold medal presentations from Heartland Park, Topeka, and one very happy Lee Neffenegger. The 19th gold medal of the 2008 SCCA National Championships has been decided. Lee Neffenegger took the win, but what a great battle Chad Gilsinger and Ken Flory had. Great run for Richard Cullen and Chase Lind. Well, he definitely had some excitement, but it was hard to get there because at the drop of the green, Dorsey, at least the first green, things didn't work out so well.
Well, you're used to this shuffle. You always see it, but you hope this doesn't happen. What happens, of course, is three cars get together. Jeff Jensen in the Acura starts this one. Bob Shader gets the worst of it right there as he gets collected. Three cars out of the race at the start, a lot of big cleanup. There you can see Jeff Jensen with the blue back car pushing right through, trying to go through a hole that wasn't there.
Acura just won't fit in that spot, Dorsey.
That hole closed. I mean, he was going for a hole that looked like it was there, but it just closed up.
And this is why you want to qualify up front. While the melee ensues in the back, the first three rows get away, and one of those drivers was your pole sitter, Lee Neffenegger. Now he's a national champion, Chris.
Well, last year was Pontiac, this year it's Honda, and not only does Lee Neffenegger grab the national championship, but you also get the Triple Crown. Tell us about that great back-and-forth battle you had with Michael Skornowacki before he had the flat.
He was running me down, and but I obviously had a little bit of power on the straightaway. I was able to outside in him coming down the front straight, and he gave me room. I tried to give him room over there in turn 4. He tried to go around the outside, and I think he hit a curb or something. I mean, I was sliding, he was sliding, so I hope Mike isn't too upset about it. We didn't touch, so.
It was a great battle to watch. Now, you're also an engineer for Honda Research and Development in Raymond, Ohio. How's everybody going to react back in Ohio when you bring this trophy home?
It's pretty cool. I think it's the first national championship we've ever won with this. It's an employee after-work team, so we do all the work to the cars ourselves, so it should be pretty exciting. And it's the first win for Honda in a long, long time. So,
a lot of hard work, and they come home with the trophy.
Well, starting in second place, but also finishing in second place, Chad Gilsinger, even it was a very exciting race for what you were seeing.
Yeah, the first lap I was able to get the lead, but then my tires were too cold, so I went off and won, and then we had the full course yellow. And then I didn't really have anything for Lee, so I just tried to give him some room, hold off the Solstices as long as I could, and it was a tough battle.
Now, Ken Flory was pushing you all for a long time at the end of the race. Did you ever feel like, oh, maybe he's going to stick his nose in here? Because he was obviously a little quicker on the infield.
Yeah, I knew pretty much exactly where he'd stick his nose in, so I made sure that I took a defensive line. These cars have great straight line speed, but not so good in the corners. But the Honda did great. The BFG tires worked all the race, and I can't ask for anything more.
Well, you got a third in T3 earlier in the weekend, his second Runoffs podium, guys.
It was a great day for Honda, and you heard him say this is an after-work team. A lot of the engineers from Honda do that, not only in the SCCA competition, we see it in Coney Challenge as well. Lee Neffenegger, hard-earned victory. Congratulations to him for the national championship and the Triple Crown.
Well, I'll tell you what, those Solstices handle so well, and sometimes they're going to win the race, you know, on a handling track, but too much straightaway here on both ends with that Honda horsepower.
Hard to beat him down the straightaway. Those little Honda Civics were quick. Well, it was definitely an exciting Showroom Stock B National Championship action from before the drop of the green. Chase Lynn will certainly remember it. Ken Flory, well, he liked last year better when he had the national championship. Congratulations to Lee Neffenegger. For Mike Johnson, Chris Neville, Dorsey Schrader, I'm Brian Till. Thanks for joining us for the Showroom Stock B National Championship from the Runoffs. Make sure you catch all the Runoffs action right here, only on Speed. So long, everyone.